The Themartpos system is a point of sale system used by retailers purposely for transactions. Before we proceed, the user must log in with the required email and password. Note: the email and password must be a correct one to prevent an error of the email and the password. So always make sure your email and password is correct. In the dashboard of the point of sale system, the left panel we have branches, items, customers, transactions, stock, report by sale, report by stock, account set. So we will proceed with items. We have all items. Basically, all items are showing the items which are in the stock or items which are in shop. So, for instance, if it's a watch shop, a boutique shop, or let's say a pharmacy, first of all the items in the pharmacy, the items in the boutique, or the items in the shop must be registered. So, this is the procedures we pass through when registering an item. The item, you click on new item. So, you have to check whether the item is having its own item type. If not, then you register the item type. So let's try creating a new item type for the item. Let's take um, a boutique item for instance. So we are registering a shirt. So we have Ferrari. So we first have to enter the item type, which is Ferrari, and you can put in a description where is it let's say an Italian way, is it an Italian way, London wear, or something. So let's say maybe it's Italian wear or London wear or London shirt, and you proceed with that. This will show on a receipt. So after creating the item, there you come here to create the item itself. So you state the item name, Ferrari shirt. You select the item type which we created previously. So we have Ferrari. You state the quantity of items which is in stock. So let's say the quantity is 25, and then the cost price which is 35 cedis, and then a selling price which is 40 cedis. So when an item is created, it comes back to all items. So let's search for Ferrari and see whether we have Ferrari. Okay, so we have Ferrari shoe and we have Ferrari shirt. The item is created right now, which is Ferrari London shirt 25 quantity, 35 Ghana cedis and 40 Ghana cedis as the selling price. This is basically what we do when you are registering an item. Make sure all items in the stock are being registered in the system before you start transacting. So now we are going to proceed with transactions after we have now registered the items. So the transaction, go to make order. So the make order section is the same as the dashboard when you log in into the system. So when you look at my extreme right, we have the customers which you want to use in transactions. So you can also register customers and use customers in your transaction. So let's proceed with Perez Asibi as a customer. You can avoid using customers name and even use different customers and regular customers. So when you submit a customer, it brings you to the receipt section or the invoice section. So let's try. This is your point of sale actually. So let's try and make a transaction. So we are selling to a customer a Ferrari shirt that we just okay. So we have Ferrari shirt, and then we are selling to a customer five Ferrari shirts. So over here, you realize that we have a cost price section. So the system gives us two price same system whereby you can sell with the cost price or sell with the selling price. So if you click on the cost price and you place order, the price that comes here is 35 cedis. So let's try and also sell without clicking on the cost price, Ferrari shirt, and see the price which will be given to us. So here we are also selling the same, we are buying five quantity of Ferrari shirts. And we realize that the price of Ferrari is 40 because we didn't click on the cost price. So it gives us what two pricing systems and calculates subtotal as well as the general total of the transaction. So here we realize that we've made two transactions. The first transaction was five Ferrari shares which we sold it for 35 cedis, and then the second is a Ferrari shed five quantities which we sold for 40 Ghana cedis. So we realize that in all we are having a total of 375 Ghana cedis. So afterwards, what we do is we print out receipts. So we print out this is the receipt for the system. So after printing out the receipt, and the receipt is being given to the customer. So basically, this is how the point of sale is going to be like. So we can start a new sale. But let's try something. We realize that we have we've now sold a quantity of 10 of Ferrari shirts. Now let's try and buy 80 Ferrari shirts and see 80 Ferrari shirts. So we realize that the system telling us that we have only 15 Ferrari shirts available. So that means that the system also flags errors when you try to enter in any quantity. And it also shows you that the system is reducing or the system is running out. So here we have the running out, which will give you a warning. So whenever you see the yellow sign, it gives you a warning that the system is running out. So let's check systems which are running, items which are running out. So we realize the Ferrari shirts that we installed is what's running out. So we have 15 quantity which is left. So we set a threshold. We normally set a threshold to 20. So now the items are left with 15. So here basically you can add more Ferrari items. So when you go to stock, so let's go to stock and add more Ferrari items because Ferrari items are running out. So Ferrari, if we select Ferrari, and we add let's say 80 or let's add 60 to it. Okay. So we've added 60 Ferrari shares, but you realize that when we were adding the Ferrari shares, it came twice. So we call this error double entry. So because of the network system, the items were duplicated. So here we realize that we have Ferrari shirt and another Ferrari shirt. So we delete one Ferrari shirt which was being entered. Okay, so now let's proceed. So let's check the items which are running out. And we realize that we have three items which are running out now. So there's no more Ferrari shirt. So basically what the system does is The system notifies you when items are running out, and as well as when the quantity in the quantity in stock. You'll be able to know your stock as well as your daily sales, your monthly sales. So you'll be passing through the daily sales. So let's go to today's sales, the transaction that we've made in a day. So when you go to the daily sales, for instance, we have the date, which you will set your date to January. Today is 15th. Then you click on go. So these are the items that we sold in a day. We have trousers, we sold blankets, polo, we sold drink, shop, we sold Ferrari. Ten the Ferrari we sold 10 quantities of Ferrari today. So this one is really the summary of items which were sold. So you realize that about two people came to buy, one bought Ferrari five, another bought five of Ferrari, but we are having 10 of it. So we want to view detailed sales. So here we view click to view the details of the sales or the details of transactions. You realize that it comes in with the customers who purchase the item. So you realize that we have Perez who purchased a Ferrari shirt. We have Mark who purchased a polo shirt. Perez purchased another Ferrari shirt. And then you can also click to view and make changes to the transaction. So let's say if the person comes in and says that he or she doesn't like this particular uh, item which he purchased, so he wants to change it. So you can come here and just make changes to it. So now let's proceed with it. So we have your daily sales. Let's go back. So we can check our monthly sales as well. So monthly sales we are in January 2018. So we set January 2018. And then when we pull it out, the system gives you same transactions for the month. So you can also go here and then view details. All right. So basically, what the system does is, first of all, you made mention of items. You have to register the items in the shop. After registering the items in the shop, then voila, you go on with transaction. Then you start with what making order. So whenever a customer comes in, you can register a customer by using the customer name to make the transaction, or you can proceed with using a regular account for a transaction. So here is where we register customers. So we have customer details, all customers. So these are the three customers we have. You can add about thousands of customers and so on with their customer details. Some clients do avoid customers. They normally use they register using a regular customer and sell with that. So we can proceed now with account settings. So over here, we have different types of users. We have the system administrator, the general manager, branch manager, sales manager, and all that. But with this, every um, user type is having its own permission features. So let's say if the person is a sales manager, so let's try editing. Let's go to user types. So we have these are the user types we have. So we are going to make changes to the sales, or let's make changes to the general manager because we are using the general manager. So you realize that where my Keda is, we have Ebenezer Fabina Boachi as a general manager. So we are going to make certain restrictions. So we see how it works. So with it, with this, let's go back to the user types and make changes to general manager. So what I'm going to do is we are going to restrict him from editing items. So we disable that section, and we also disable a section of um, making adding customers, and a section of seeing a transaction. Okay, so let's update the user file. Okay. So now let's view all users, and let's see a general manager. Let's view. All right. When you scroll down, you realize that we have certain this. Uh, we have disabled items and as well as item rights and as well as customer rights. And over here also disable transaction. What does this mean? This means that this particular user does not have permission to access these various portfolios of the system. So let's try and see. So let's go to items. Let's go to new item. All right. So let's try and create an item. So it's flagging an error that you do not have access to the resource requested. Contact the system administrator or for assistance. So what we do is that we restrict certain users. So in your shop, you might have a general manager, sales managers. We have system administrators. So the sales personnel are being restricted. Not all sales personnel will be having the same permission. So, for example, when you go to general sales, for instance, it is still flag error warning that we can't go there. So not so if I'm the sales manager, I can't have access to view the total sales that you made, the overall total sales that you are making. But then I can go to your sales, the daily sales and check the daily sales that you had. So I think that basically this is what the software does. And then let's say maybe you forgot your your Gmail whilst logging in. Let's log out. You forgot your Gmail account or your password whilst logging in. What you do is that if you forget your password, you click on the forget password section or I forgot password, and then you restore by entering in your email and you submit. You will have a notification in your mail account. Check your mail for the link